Welcome. In front of me I have the Matebook E from Huawei, and today I will go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this computer, tablet, whatever you want to classify this. The specs and obviously the system right here would suggest it's a computer. It's running Windows 11. It has this specific model has a Intel Core i3. So yeah, anyway, I'll just pop it open. Now I'll mention this is actually not everything you get. So I also got this nice pink mouse, nice, and also a cover keyboard, which is a little bit on the floor. So let me just whip it out. So there we go. Now I'll unbox everything on camera right now. So let's honestly start off with the actual tablet, because that's probably what everybody cares about. There we go. Just toss that to the ground. So here is our tablet computer. Ooh, the bezels are pretty slim. That's actually really nice. Now it has a little bit of weight to it. I assume you'd probably expect it, considering this is a full-fledged computer instead of a tablet with relatively decent specs. Oh, I was wondering what the heck this is, because actually on the camera it looks a little bit more self-explanatory than it did for me. For a moment I thought that the cover is actually popping off, that it's damaged, but this is just a cooling vents for the actual computer. So because this is technically a computer and it's running an this specific version running i3, it does need to have some kind of probably active cooling to work a little bit better. Now additionally, I will mention this is an i3, but you can also get this in i5 flavor or even i7. So in all three variants of Intel, because that's the only actual option you have, there is no AMD version, only Intel. All of them are 11th gen Intel cores, so 1110G4, 1130G7, and 1160G7. So those would correlate to i5, i7, and i3, technically in the smallest to the highest naming. Anyway, I'm gonna turn it on. So we do have a fingerprint sensor right here, which I'm pressing right now, which I believe doubles as a power button. Will it turn on, or is it completely discharged? I guess I'm just gonna plug it into charge. Yeah, there we go. Now this should hopefully charge it pretty well. It is a Apple charger, so I'm pretty sure it charges like something of 80 watts, most likely. With a Simpson cable, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'll put that on my lap right now because I'm literally running out of the desk and it is charging, so I need to have it close. So anyway, let's just go over and see what else we have in here. So we do have a charger. There we go. By the weight of it, seems like it's a decent charger, probably 100 watts or more. Oh, that's a brick. So this is a, where is it? 20. Oh, there we go. So this is a 65 watt charger. You can see the last little entry right here. So we're looking at 20 volts at 3.25 amps. 65 watts. And just pull up that back in here. And obviously in here we will have a cable. There we go. And some paperwork. I'm just gonna grab the cable just so we can see how it looks like. Oh, ooh, it just turned on. Just to kind of like bring it in. So there we go. And let's see. Okay, type C to type C. It looks like it's about 2 meters long.
To set up your device using a screen reader, turn on narrator by pressing Windows plus Control plus Enter. For more accessibility features, press Windows.
No thanks. Anyway. Okay, so that's... So I just put this right here. Get rid of the box. Cool. And bring this on. So I'm gonna lower the brightness or exposure. There we go. So I'm just gonna go through a quick little setup right here. Hopefully this doesn't take too long, just so we can see how this actually works. Now, one thing that I didn't see in the box was a stylus. On pictures on Huawei site, it is being used with a stylus, so I assume it supports it. It's most likely expected considering it's a touch surface as well. But obviously, for some reason, they didn't feel the necessity to include it with the actual device. So, a little bit of a bummer. Now, would be nice if I could set up the damn device without actually needing to connect to a network. On Windows 10 you could. This supposedly is running Windows 11, so I'm not sure if they changed it, as in Microsoft, or if Huawei is just being an absolute piece of shit right here, not gonna sugarcoat it, and preventing us from setting it up without the need to connect to network, which is something that I hate. Anyway, I'm gonna log in because it's not like I have a choice. There we go. Oh, I can actually hear it cool. Let me bring it to the microphone. Maybe you can actually hear it. So I think the microphone was picking up this subtle, like, noise. Wait, why didn't it connect? There we go. Anyway, while this is setting up, I'm just gonna yeet it to the side and move over to another thing that is on the ground, this thing, so we can utilize this basically together. Anyway, let's flip that over. We do have I'm also going to be doing a setup of the of the computer on the side, so if it seems like I'm being preoccupied by something else for a brief second, that's probably why. There we go. Now, this actually has some rigidity to it. Unless it's just the fact that there's something inside. Yeah, well, I ripped that. Oh, come on. Okay, this isn't necessarily the best unboxing experience that I've had. So we have a little bit of like glue left over on the side right here, and paper as well. Not the neatest unboxing, I guess. Oh, let me just quickly deal with this. So, see if I can do next. Sign in options, maybe? Can I like set it up without actually logging in? Come on. Sign in with a no. See back. Is Windows literally this cancer now? Come the F on. Now what, I'm just gonna lock this for the time being, and honestly I'm just gonna run through the specs and do this setup probably off the camera, because this is giving me absolute cancer right now. And I don't mean that in in any kind of positive sense. If there can be even a positive sense to this. Anyway, and here we get some paperwork, like you would need a paperwork to just a keyboard. Anyway, I'm gonna unplug this so I can actually grab it we do have a little contact spot at the bottom of the tablet computer, which I assume magnetically attach. Yep, it's fully magnetic. So there we go. And you just close it up. Okay, let's get rid of this. So how do I stand it up? Am I a absolute boomer? Ooh, well that's... Huh? So it literally tells me to bend it the other way around. Oh, that doesn't feel right. But there we go. As you can see, it does support it. So you can also see it is magnetic, so if I close it up, I assume it turns off the screen. Yep, as you can see, it turns it off, but when you open it up, it lights it up. There we go. Let's see the keyboard. The keyboard seems to be spaced out okay. It's not the biggest keyboard, obviously, but honestly it seems pretty decent. Very similar to Apple keyboard. There is a really tactile feel to it. You won't be like misclicking these buttons with a nice spacing between. So even for such a low travel keyboard, it still makes it feel okay-ish to type on. Obviously it won't compare to like a mechanical keyboard, so if that is something that you're thinking of, then I might recommend something. I don't actually have it right here, but I do have a fantastic mechanical keyboard which would work really well with such a device like this one. So it would be the Newfie Air either 75 or 60. It's a low profile mechanical keyboard which you can buy also with like a case for it, but the case can be clipped backwards and it supports basically phones, tablets, and something like this. It won't have the benefit of like magnetic cover, which when you open it up it lights up the display, but it would still support this without any kind of problem. It is Bluetooth or wired, so you can utilize both of them, and I personally do prefer just mechanical keyboards, just, you know, my preference, and that would work super well with this. Unfortunately I don't have it to show it off how this would pair up, but I probably will bring it to work tomorrow and maybe do some video with it as well. Anyway, now I'm not gonna go over unboxing of the little pink mouse. It's just a mouse. So yeah, anyway, I just kind of get a look at the case right here. So see, that's kind of how it goes right here, and this is the cover that you just kind of like do this weird bend. It feels like it might actually break at the beginning, but especially that it's loose right here, so it's magnetically attached and just flops around, but when you get to a resistance point right here and push it back like you're breaking it, it stays in that position and it holds the tablet computer pretty well. Now, one thing that I just realized, it does cover up your camera, because we do have a camera at the back. So with this being completely closed, if you want to, I don't know, have this on somehow and take a picture, you do need to either flip it backwards or just take off the actual cover altogether. Now, in terms of the cover itself, it's the computer is being held in here just by magnets. So all you would do is just kind of like separate it like this and whoop, lift it up. So it's only magnetically attached. It doesn't clip into here in any kind of way. And same goes for putting it back on. Okay, now to quickly go over these specs, let me quickly just open them up. So Did it just lock? Yep, apparently it did by being dropped. So there we go. Let's just see. Display, which actually was written on the box. So this is on the box this was 12, though it's exactly 12.6 inches. It's an OLED display, so you're gonna get, ooh, damn nice black levels right here, where pixels are just off when it's displaying black, just any kind of, for instance, like right here, the background right here is black. Same goes for this phone too. These pixels are completely turned off. You'll get the same thing right here. Now, I will mention one thing. This might cause some burn-in. OLEDs are subject to burn-ins, though you won't see that right away. Something that would develop over time when you're just having the same kind of thing open for extended period of time. So you just, once you close it up, change the background, for instance, you will continue to see just like a ghostly effect of whatever was open. So in terms of Windows, the thing that will most likely be the subject to this kind of thing happening would be the taskbar at the bottom of the window. So where you have all your icons, your start button and stuff like that. This, after some time, if you open up anything full screen, might be still visible as a burn-in into the screen. That is unfortunately not very nice, but it's also normal for OLED displays. OLEDs did get significantly better in recent timings, so this might be greatly improved or reduced in effect, so you might not see it, and obviously the screen might last longer, but eventually you will probably start seeing something like this after a couple years of use, depending how you use it. If you tend to like continuously switch what's visible on a screen, then you might have this not show up for a very long time. But if you tend to have certain things open always in the same kind of way, so full screening some kind of, like, for instance, Word document, you will probably get something like a burn-in from the closing button, the X one in the corner. So if you don't have to, maybe switch it up, shift it a little bit. This will help you with the longevity of your display, not having any kind of burn-ins. Anyway, just continuing with this, we have a 90% screen to body ratio, pretty nice, and the display does look really nice in terms of like how almost edge to edge it is. It's a 16 by 10 aspect ratio, so it's a little bit longer, something like, for instance, Apple MacBooks are nowadays. And this will have a different aspect ratio than typical monitor, because normal monitors, for instance, like from work, for the most part are 16 by 9. This is 16 by 10, so it's a little bit wider. Allows you to fit just more, for instance, text at the bottom. So yeah. Now the resolution right here is also pretty nice, especially for a device such a size. So we're looking at 2560 by 1600, which puts it apparently at 240 pixels per inch, which obviously it's good. Maximum brightness, so we're looking at a typical brightness of 400 nits, and then HBM, I assume this is like boosted one, I'm just guessing, so don't hate on me if I'm wrong. I guess this probably could be boosted if you're going outside, could boost into 600. It's nothing special, so you might in certain cases have problems with seeing the display at 400 nits, especially outside. Specifically indoors, it's going to be just completely fine. Contrast ratio, absolutely good. It's an OLED display, so you most likely won't have any better contrast ratio than this. Viewing angles, it's an OLED, so again, they should be pretty decent. Touchscreen, 10 points. And here we go into specs. So like I mentioned, there are a couple different specs. The one that I have right here is the i3. There's also i5 and i7. Now with higher processors, you will also probably reduce your battery life just a little bit with that, and all of them will also come with the same kind of graphics, or maybe not the same. So we have either UHD graphics or Intel Iris X graphics. So I assume Intel X will probably go for the higher end models like i7. Whoops, closed it by mistake. Let's go back. Memory, 8 or 16 gigs. Now this is a soldered on memory, so it's not like you can upgrade it. So when you're picking this up, I would probably recommend for a computer like this, pick up 16 gigs. obligatory. 8 gigs shouldn't even be an option in this year. So yeah, with these two options, don't even like think about picking up 8. Just straight up go for 16. And why did you lock? Come on. Oh, I know why it's locking. It's the magnets. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna hold it. Now, storage-wise, it looks like we have a couple different storage options. Now, I didn't see any expansion storages here, so that's a little bit of a shame. But we're dealing either with 128 or 256 or 512 gigs of NVMe PCIe SSD storage. So, honestly, I would recommend picking up probably a half a terabyte, which will be the more spec one, or at least 250. 128 for a Windows computer is not enough, in my opinion. After installing Windows on it and just having some basic application, you'll probably already have it like half filled, if not more. So 120 is just, again, it shouldn't be an option. It's an actual computer with a decent processor in here. It will run fine as long as you give everything else that it needs. Processor, even the i3, should be running super well. But if you skimp out on other components, for instance storage or specifically RAM, the computer might have a little bit slowdowns in certain areas. So I would recommend forking out more money just so the computer can last longer and you won't have much problem later on. Now anyway, battery, we have obviously we have a battery capacity 42 watt hours. Then we have Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.1, and Type-C. So there is only, I think, one. I mean, actually just physically look at the device. Let's get rid of this. Oh boy, I need a bigger place to record. So we do have a headphone jack actually. And yeah, we only have this Type-C port. So with such a device, you are most likely forced into having a dongle. And I don't think that's going to be any kind of like even debate. If you're planning to plug in anything USB related, a dongle. It's only a Type-C, so dongle will, number one, extend the amount of things you can plug into this single port, and also what type of things you can plug into this port. So with a dongle, again, I don't have one to showcase again. I left it at home. But I have, for instance, a dongle that has just a couple USB ports, an HDMI port, and a SD card reader, which doesn't charge, so it's not going to be a best option. If you're planning to pick up a dongle for this, look for one that allows you to charge through USB-C. So it has a power delivery through Type-C port. This will ensure that you can continuously use this device while also charging it and still have ports accessible. Now, anyway, I'll just quickly finish this up. So yeah, we have a keyboard, which I did showcase. Power button and doubles as fingerprint, camera 8 megapixels, and front is 8, rear is 13. Audio, we have speakers. I'll showcase this probably later on how the speakers sound and just how the device actually performs. Anyway, we do have also a headphone jack, which I did show you, so you can plug in normal headphones through it or connect them through Bluetooth. The world is your oyster with this device almost. And features, Huawei Share, so it has basically everything that you would expect from a Huawei laptop. So laptops do have, if you also have a Huawei phone, you have this kind of options to basically just like slap the device to it, and it automatically allows you to transfer photos or other things on the go, connect it also together. It's a really nice feature, but only accessible Huawei to Huawei, which is, they're taking the same approach as Apple. In the box, whatever. So yeah, that's basically all there is to this device. So anyway, I'm not gonna really give my opinions on it. I didn't really set it up, which is the fault of Windows right here. I will do that later on when I actually figure out what account I want to log in here with. So I will do that off the camera, but obviously the specs right here will allow you to utilize this device pretty freaking well for a decent amount of time into the future, just because the 11th gen specifically processors are super good. especially for a device that is this size. This is really nice. So yeah, not much more to say about that. It should be a pretty sweet computer. Anyway, with that being said, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.